Hi, hello, and howdy for another episode of the Shaynanigans podcast. It's just me this time. It's just ya boy. And actually, I'm kind of messing with this new intro too, so let's try this. Okay, we're just gonna, just a little bit of headbanging, and then we'll get into it, dude. I need to like make it it's just from the YouTube video. I need to like actually, you know, bring it in, like have it fade out and shit. But I like that shit, dude. I've been listening to a lot of like pop punk lately. That's been one of my favorites. I like that shit. So that'll just be the intro. Let's just do that. That is Overstepping by Belmont, and they are cool. um, yeah, so in case you're wondering, hey Sheldon, what are you wearing? You will know just because I just wanted to do this. That's it. That's all I wanted. Just to have the fucking just to have the little Dorian face peek out, Fucking I just got off work. I had to fucking take a shower and it's cold as dick in my house and I'm doing laundry. So I just put on a long sleeve shirt and I was like, let's do the Clark Kent, Cuz what we're getting into today is the backstory, is the fucking the origin story of how this all came to be, how I became a person, uh, sex, how how I started fucking doing this shit, how my personality, I guess, became what it is now. So like, here's the thing, right? I'm gonna start having guests, not all the time. Maybe every other time, every one out of every 3 times, I'll have a guest or some shit. It'll probably just be the same people over and over again, just my fucking friends, and we'll be dicking around. But and that's pretty good content, tbh. I'm not even gonna lie. But I figured before I can get into I don't really interview people, but like before I can get into asking people questions and having you guys get to know my friends, I figured just in case we should just do a recap of me. And I don't I'm not the biggest fan of like making myself the center of attention. Yeah, that's this guy with the fucking YouTube channel. But you know what I mean? Like I like fucking giving my take on things and shit, but like I don't know, the whole episode being about me is gonna be weird, so this is gonna be fucking I don't know, this is gonna take some getting used to just only talking about me. So um, where do we start here? I guess. Well, um, I know for a fact my mom and my dad met at a party, right? Which makes sense. I do also know that the night I was conceived, my mom threw up in the back of my dad's truck. So like, if that was gonna be a like a warning sign of how their child was gonna be, like, hey, hope you didn't want your kid to be a fucking smoker and a drinker, cause that's on you, buddies. So, yeah, I was born in Fort Worth, and I grew up like all over the place, right? I fucking had to move around a lot, and I say had to move around a lot because like it seems like all my friends that I have now kind of just were in the same place always, but like the same friends through elementary, middle, and high school and shit. But I grew up in a small town called Joshua, Texas, and if I remember correctly, there when I lived there, it's like four, maybe 5,000 people. Which if we're going by JB numbers, that's not even that much. But I mean, that's more than small town. As far as small towns go, it's not the smallest, but it's pretty fucking small, dude. And it's a real close knit community. Everybody fucking knew everybody. Everybody went to like the Friday night football games at the middle and high school and shit. And it was real annoying, Fuck saying hi to people all the time. But uh, lived there for a little while. Actually, before that, that's just kind of like, I guess that's when I became sentient. That's when I started like having memories. But before that, uh, I lived in a slightly less small town called Burleson, and went to went through fourth grade there, then moved to Joshua for fifth, sixth, and seventh grade, and then I moved to DFW, like Arlington area, which is where I still reside now. So, um, we originally moved because my parents got divorced. Oh no, here comes the sad guys. Oh fuck. Hey, you know what though? People like to cry about parents getting divorced and stuff, but you know what, there is an upside. And me and my friends have joked about this for years. There is an upside to parents getting divorced. Louis C.K. has a great bit on it. If you look that up, but uh there is upsides to divorce, and you know what that is for your kids. 2 fucking Christmases, dudes. 2 Christmases. You thought you got gifts in 1 Christmas? Imagine a whole second Christmas when you're done. It's like a dessert Christmas, you know? It's like, you don't fill up at the fucking on the apps, you know? We got dessert Christmas coming around later. Don't worry, kid. And it was kind of cool because for a few years they would try to outdo each other, and then, dude, it gets even better because so there was 2, you know, mom's side and dad's side, and then my mom got remarried. So then, and I don't want to alarm anyone, but then when my mom got remarried the first time, 3 fucking Christmases, dude. You know? And it was cool my mom got remarried because this is when we were living in Joshua, but it was cool my mom got remarried because she married a dude who had a decent amount of money. Great guy. He's my, I still, when I think of my stepdad, it's my current stepdad now and then that guy, you know? But he was a great guy. He had a decent amount of money, and his parents were fucking loaded. So I remember going over to my step grandparents' house, and they literally had a driving range in the backyard, like for golf. So we would just go out there and fucking just hit golf balls into the abyss, you know, and just fuck them. There's always more. Sometimes we'd get bored, we'd go, you know, collect them and shit. But you just hit shit off into the woods. It was awesome, you know. I wonder if I ever like hit a deer with a golf ball or some shit. That'd be some fucking oof. That's skill, you know. But so we covered that. We got started in a small town and then moved to the slightly smaller town, and then that marriage also didn't work out for old Mama Quaza. Yeah, old Mama Quaza. So then she got remarried, and I moved. That's when I moved to Arlington. That's when I met all the people that I know now and that I consider my friends now, right? So, and I have a bit about this. I had a quote unquote comedy special in a couple of them, but in the first one, and I have a bit about it where I grew up in such a small town that the makeup of the school, like of the race of the kids, it was 50% white, 50% Mexican. Like there was the occasional Asian, occasionally, I think is what they were called, and then so there's like maybe a handful, maybe 8 to 10 Asian kids, and then there was 2 black kids, and then that's it. That was the whole school, you know. So it was weird. You could count the amount of Asians and black kids on 2 hands, you know, like, which is fucking odd. But it was a really, really small town, like I said, and there was a lot. It was like not an up and coming area, but it was just close enough to like the DFW area, like the popular shit, to where the people were still expanding out there. So like there wasn't even Walmarts and shit out there yet, you know. So things were still being built. A lot of the kids that I was friends with were Mexican kids, and like all of their fucking parents worked construction. That was just the work that was out there, you know. It was just small town shit. And I remember riding the bus home, and one of my friends that I rode the bus with, he was like, he got dropped off, and then mine was like the next stop, and he was like, I remember one time he was coming over to my house, so we both get dropped off at my house, and he was like, my dad built this house. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure my parents did. And he was like, no, like literally, like your parents must have paid my dad to build this fucking house. He did all the brickwork for this house. I was like, oh shit. Well, tell him I said thanks. I guess, I don't know, you know, like fuck. But it was, and I have a love-hate relationship with reusing jokes, but when I moved to Arlington, it was so fucking weird, man, because I was so used to, you know, what I was used to at the racial makeup of the school. When I moved to Arlington, dude, and this was not too long after Hurricane Katrina, if I'm not mistaken. I might be getting my years wrong, but this was definitely post Katrina, and you know, fucking a third of the population of Louisiana moved to Texas. So a lot of the people that moved from Louisiana were black people. And then I get into fucking school, and I come from the podunk like school where people, I swear to God, literally would ride horses to school. Like we had kids who would ride fucking horses to school, and then their parent would take their, you know, would be also riding a horse, and then take the horse that the kid rode and ride it back home. So like, get a car, dude. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like it wasn't weird to me at the time, but like now that I think back, who the fuck does that, dude? Like, what? I don't know. It's so fucking stupid to think about. Like, who? Nobody. That's not a thing that people do, you know. So, uh, so I moved to Arlington, and I'm the joke I make in the quote unquote comedy special is I'm like, it feels like the intro of Shawshank Redemption, you know, when I'm walking in and all the people are banging on the door, fresh meat, and he's just like, I don't belong here, man, and then they all fucking, I don't know, they beat him up or something. I don't know. I didn't get beat up, but that's what it was like, dude. I just wasn't ready for that amount of cultural difference, you know, like it just was a whole different fucking ballgame. And also, the first day of 8th grade, that's when I moved to Arlington. It's my birthday. My birthday was on the first day of school. Happy fucking birthday, Sheldon. Have fun with all your new friends, you know? Go fucking, go find some friends, dude. And since it was my birthday, and my mom was a bit of a jokester, she drug, like, fucking tin cans behind her car and painted the fucking windows with, like, the fucking window chalk and shit. Bro, like, honk if you love, or honk for happy birthday or some shit, and then like drew like a circle around where I sat in the car with arrows to it. Like, it's his birthday, embarrass him. So my first memory, the first day of school, I walk up and I have my fucking backpack and I'm walking up and my mom was blaring Britney fucking Spears, honking. The cars behind them are honking. All the parents are getting into it, and all the like the kids that I'm walking up with that also just got dropped off are like, this fucking guy, like, idiot, you know, like they were all, they don't even know me or my name yet, and they're already like, okay, well, this guy's a fucking piece of shit, you know, this guy is not cool. So had some recovery I had to do from that, you know. But yeah, so 1st through 4th grade went to the same school, and then 5th, 6th, 7th grade same school, and then 8th grade through 12th grade same school. So like, and then also with just like the divorces and shit, and then my dad living by himself, and then him moving several times, and then fucking just moving around so much, dude. Like, I had to get good at making friends, you know. Like, I had no, if I wanted to survive out there, which makes it seem a lot more brutal than it actually was, but I had to, I don't know, dude. I guess that's why I became funny. Is like I didn't really have a choice. It was just like, you know. Fucking, I either had to get good at making friends, or I had to get good at eating lunch alone, you know. And hey, dude, I fucking, honestly though, I'll eat alone, I don't give a fuck. But, and that's probably why. But yeah, man. So that's just that slowly became me saying outlandish, dumb, sometimes pretty offensive shit, you know. And that's just how it was, you know. And I come from a real goofy family. Like, both sides are all fucking goofy as shit. So I had no choice but to be at least a little funny, you know. So fast forward a few years, so 8th and 9th grade, I didn't really have a bunch of friends. Like, I knew people and people knew me, but like I didn't have like hang out every day after school friends, you know. Like, and it's funny, my buddy that I live with now, that we know, we did the OK Boomer song, and we did the Hot Ones challenge. He was my first friend that I made when I moved to Arlington. So like, and I remember we became friends because we were both, I feel like he probably had friends, but I remember I was sitting by myself. He came up and sat by me, and then for some reason we started talking about South Park, and we had like a whole conversation in different voices from South Park. And at the time, I did a mean Towley, dude. I did a mean fucking Towley. So I was killing that shit with the impression, like, don't forget to bring a towel. You know, it's not a hard impression to do, but I was nailing it. So we would laugh about that shit. And then he had a couple classes with him too. So we just became friends, and then now we fucking live together, you know? How fucking cute is that, dude? How fucking cute is that? Oh my god. But, so, 10th grade, I had already seen them around, kind of, but I met my friends, my best friends now, and I remember meeting, my buddy Brian, who is one of my best friends, but I remember I had not an altercation, but we talked for a second in 8th grade, and we were walking down the stairs, and he was walking with a kid that I kind of knew, so I was talking to him, and then my friend at the time, Brian, he fucking looks at me, and he's like, he says he doesn't remember this, but it's so fucking him. He looked at me and he was like, anybody ever told you look like a necrophiliac? I was like, what the fuck? What even is that? And then he had to be like, and he had to explain what a necrophiliac was. So I would always see that kid in the hallway, and he he had a real curly fucking afro, and I was always like, "There's that Afro kid that told me about what necrophilia was. That's fucking weird." And then fast forward to him being my fucking best friend through high school. So like, I don't know. It was funny that like of all the people to be best friends with, it was the kid with the fucking the necrophilia kid. You know, it's funny. But and I've talked about this a little bit too. You know, we did the whole. We would just walk around the city. We would throw Molotov cocktails. We'd fucking burn shit. Dude, we were just hoodlums. You know, we had nothing to do. We had really, really shitty weed, and we would just fucking smoke a little bit in an alley somewhere or in a tunnel, walk around, fuck some shit up, do salvia in the woods, you know? Just have a fucking grand old time, dude. And then eventually I get kicked out of my house because my mom is like, hey, you can't. Okay, there's two options. You're either going to keep smoking weed and you're going to get the fuck out, or you're going to fucking. Or you can, you know, be a law-abiding citizen and then continue to live here, and then I'm going to charge you rent. And I was like, that sounds like a horrible idea. Fuck that. I'm moving out. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have, you know, anyone that had been like, hey, if you ever need a couch to crash on. I was just like, I'm not fucking living here anymore. Fuck this, dude. The best depression medication is this fucking, you know, $20 ganja here. So I'm not, I don't know. It wasn't worth it to me. So fucking moved out. Ended up moving in with my buddies. That's when we have this the episode called American Horror Story. That's where that all comes into play. I got kicked out and fucking, well, I say get kicked out, but it was, you know, it was my, I guess, choice to leave, but still an ultimatum is basically getting kicked out, I think. So yeah, moved in with them, fucking partied it up all the time, fucking, and I remember at that house, I remember the day I became who I am now. And it's because my friend Brian, the one who told me what a necrophiliac was, my old roommate that also used to live in this house with me, in this apartment with me, he's an Asian guy, and then one of my 4 roommates at the time, the 4 of us, we did these fucking mushrooms. And it was weird because, you know, usually you see mushrooms, and it's a mushroom. It's fucking in the shape of a mushroom like from Mario. But this shit was different, man. The shit we did was fucking different. A girl I was talking to at the time who might have been the hottest girl I've ever been with, and she looked like literally like hippie Taylor Swift. It was fucking awesome. But you know, a lot of like leather jackets and fucking like rings and shit. It was cool. I know it's a very vivid description, but so we get these shrooms and we fucking through hippie Taylor Swift's friend. We get them, and it's ground up mushrooms, and it's in a capsule, you know, like a Tylenol pill, and it's all, you know, coated in there and shit. And they were $5 a piece. So I was like, you know, usually fucking mushrooms are like $15-20 a gram, but they're $5 a piece. So we were like, I got $50. Let's just buy a handful, you know. So we all took these fucking pills, mushroom pills, and then fucking tripped harder than I have ever tripped in my fucking life, dude. I remember sitting in our garage was like our chilling area, so we would fucking sit in there, and it was, you know, it wasn't technically part of the house, so you could smoke cigarettes and shit in there, and it was cool. Had a little table and a bunch of chairs set around in a circle. It was basically just a big fucking like a stoner drum circle, but and it was funny too. We were all fucking everyone smoked weed. So we had this skateboard, and you'd put the bong on the skateboard, and you would just kick it over to whoever's next in line. So you didn't have to get up and pass it to somebody. You just put it on the skateboard and fucking shoot that bitch on over. Lost many a bong. We'll say that. Lost fucking many a bong from that fucking little predicament there. But eventually we just started buying plastic ones. But yeah, man, we threw some crazy fucking parties. But I remember that day, like, having like an awakening, and that's what fucking shrooms do to you, you know. And I know this is a weird episode. I'm not thinking about it, this is a fucking weird episode, but that's what shrooms do to you, man. They like, I don't want to say they make you woke, because then you fucking woke, but like, I don't know, man. It changes the wiring inside you a little bit. It makes you more aware of things that are going on, and like, ever since then, I've remembered like so much shit about things that happened to me when I was a kid, or like how things went down, or how fucking certain things affected me and shit. And like, I don't know, it's like before there's a bunch of wires in my brain, and they were all just, when everyone has that drawer with just extra shit in it that doesn't, batteries and wires and cords that don't know, will never go to anything, but it's like, I might need it one day, I'm not throwing it away. It was like that. And then it's like when I woke up the next day from doing shrooms, they were all sorted and rubber banded out and laid out. And it was just like everything made sense. Everything kind of sorted itself out. Everything kind of just like flowed evenly now, And it's so weird, man. People that have done them before will be like, yeah, I know what you're fucking talking about. But if you don't, like, that's the best way I can describe it. It's just like all of a sudden my thoughts were organized, things made more sense, and everything kind of like, and I knew what I wanted, not in life, but like I knew what I wanted to be, how I wanted to be, not what I wanted to be, but I knew how I wanted to be, and I don't know, man, ever since then I've just been like, fuck, man, I want to be a comedian, like that's just always been like on my mind ever since that fucking day. Like I had like a awakening experience, I guess, dude. I don't know, it was fucking cool. Shrooms are awesome. If you ever get a chance to do them, make sure that you trust the person you get them from, but I'd do them, usually things like this I'd be like, I wouldn't, but this I would, so yeah, I lived with all these fucking guys. I lived in the party house with all those guys. And then after that, I got really, still in the course of that lease on that house, I got really, really, really fucking sick and had to go to the hospital for like a week and shit. And then by that time, my roommates, they couldn't really afford the fucking house anymore, so we got fucking evicted and all that shit. And it wasn't really my fault. There was a whole bunch of bullshit that happened. Like, my mom had told them straight up, like, I'll cover his rent while he's fucking sick, so like if you guys need help for the month or whatever. But they never asked. They were just like, I think they were looking, they're fucking assholes, so they were looking for an excuse to get out of this living arrangement, But yeah, so then I move in with two of my best friends of all time, and we had a grand old time. We fucked up some apartments and fucking definitely did not get our deposit back on the first several houses we fucking stayed in. But yeah, man, it was a lot of fun, dude. And I know this has been just a real vague but also oddly specific at times generalization of how I've grown up, but really the points I wanted to cover was having to move around a lot and make friends over and over again as a child, and then the shrooms were like an eye-opening thing, and then all that becomes what I now refer to as tism, and dude, I'm not even the one that came up with that shit. I heard Theo Von, the comedian, fucking hilarious comedian, I heard him say that one time, and I was like, I've never heard somebody shorten autism before, because I've always thought, like, I think I don't think I'm full on, like, I'm not going to solve the unfinished fucking equation on the chalkboard and then, like, I don't know, and then be all weird and shit, but, like, I do have kind of a hard time maintaining eye contact sometimes, and, like, I don't really like greetings, like, I don't like shaking people's hand and stuff, and there's a couple other things like that it's just like, I'm on the spectrum, it'd be like that. I'm fucking not ashamed to admit it. I think almost everyone's on that fucking spectrum, dude, so everybody's got a touch of that tism, as Theo would say. And then that just became a thing that me and my friend said all the time, and we started referring to it as, like, a part of our personalities. And it's also funny because I've had astigmatism for the longest time. That's whenever your eyes see two different ways. So, like, if you have contacts, one eye takes a different one than the other does, so it's like, it fucks up everything. So I'm fucking dual wielding tisms, dude. I got that fucking I got that astigma. I'm fucking dual wielding tisms like they're Needlers in Halo 2, bro. I got fucking I'm fucking dual wielding those bitches. What other kind of tisms are there? Autism, astigmatism. I guess right now there's some racism in the world, huh? Alcoholism, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And yeah, man, it's just all, I don't really know. I feel like there was more I needed to say, but I don't really remember what it was. The whole idea to make this episode was literally just, I wanted to do the fucking Clark Kent, and then, you guys have seen the thumbnail, you know what I did. But yeah, basically that all led into me living with, my best friends, and I got back into Pokemon when Gen 6 happened, when X and Y came out. So they were like, we're doing the megas and Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise, and shit. And I was like, I'd always been, I played the fuck out of Gen 1 and Gen 2, and I had only played those since then. I played the occasional ROM hack, but mostly I would just replay Crystal on my phone over and over and over again, and just like, make a little silly challenge. I didn't know what a Nuzlocke was at the time, but basically that, you kind of make your own little rules and stick to them to make the game fun again. And I remember I played so much fucking Pokemon, and then my friend showed me Smogon and was like, "This is so much easier to play with. You don't gotta, you don't have to EV train your Pokemon on the fucking 3DS and shit. You can just do it." And I found that, discovered the ladder, discovered fucking, Hayden and Joey Pokey-Aim and fucking all that kind of shit. And then I discovered draft format through Steve and Mega Mogwai and Shady Penguin and all that kind of shit. GBA old school days. Moment of silence for the GBA old school days. There will never be better content than that shit was, dude. But learned that and learned Draft League through all that and shit, and then made my own league with said friends, and then some people that I met online, a couple buddies that I knew from around town, a couple friends of friends that also played competitive Pokemon. And it got to the point to where I was spending so much time playing Pokemon that my fucking roommates were like, "You need to do something with this. You're fucking, all you do is play Pokemon." And like, they would watch me play sometimes, so they were like, "Why don't you like go do a tournament or something?" And I was like, "I don't like VGC. This like Draft League is a tournament for me. This is what it is. It's not, you don't do it all at the same time, but over the course of 10 weeks, it's basically a tournament." And they were like, "Well, you're not fucking, this is a hobby right now, and it takes up all your time, so you need to be doing something more with it. You need a YouTube channel or some shit." And I was like, I could probably have a YouTube channel. I'm a funny guy. I'm wacky. I'm okay at Pokemon sometimes. I could probably do a thing or two. And then literally them being like, "Yeah, dummy, fucking do that shit," And then all of a sudden I made a YouTube channel. Did some real shitty Showdown lives at first, and then met Chris and Pat on via YouTube, and just in the comments section of one of their videos. I had never seen two people share a YouTube channel before. I watched them; they were doing counter draft format, and I hit them up in the comment section, and I was like, "Yo, this is cool. I've never seen people do this before." Also, they were Australian, so their voices were cool as shit to listen to for just a simple, uneducated American not child, but I was a fucking teenager at that point. But, so then fucking started talking to them. Next thing you know, they were implemented into our league. Now I don't talk to Chris as much. I still talk to him a lot, but I talk to Pat almost every day. He's probably my best friend in the Form Pat. And then, met Austin and JB and Dorian and all those fucking guys and Sock, and fucking we all would hang out in an Austin server or Brendan server, and then that shit got annoying, so we made our own Yeet Squad server, and now we're fucking homies. We fucking, this is just our lives. Now we hang out, fucking talk about that tism, fucking maybe build some dumb teams, fucking go a lot, and that's just how everything came to be, dude. So it all kind of, it doesn't really lead into each other, but it all kind of, you can see how it all flows together. So it was a whole lot of moving around and kind of being forced to, it'd be interesting or funny or relatable or something, and then doing those fucking magical mushrooms and having like a switch flipped in me to be like, "This is what you do," and then my friends basically being like, "Dumbass, you play too much Pokemon to not be doing something with it," and that all kind of became where we are now, So I know most people don't give a shit, but if you have any questions or anything, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. I'll, as best as I can. And next week, I'm hoping to have another guest on. I haven't asked him yet, but I know he's going to say yes. So, yeah, we'll have, and that's why I wanted to get this out of the way now, so that we can just dive right into our friendship when we jump in there. So, see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that bullshit. Bye forever.